All I can say is getting up here, I kind of feel like I'm on Titanic. I really should. Okay. Thank you all for coming today to celebrate my dad. There's a little something that I want to share with you about who he was to me and my family. Growing up, my dad and I definitely butted heads. Being the firstborn, I got into my share of trouble and needed to learn by experiencing things myself. This made me the queen and my dad the king of kitchen table talks. Mara and Zach would listen from another room as closely and intently as they could, which gave them the edge of knowing what not to do to piss off Mom and Dad. My dad's personality was one that Mara and I would click with or not click with, but looking back on it now, I know it's probably because we were both very similar to my dad. Even though Mara was usually pretty quiet, there's no denying that she's much like my dad too. I think it's fair to say that we both gained my dad's sense of loyalty and stubbornness. Mara even gained Dad's addiction to shoes, bags, and shopping. We have my parents to thank for being great role models for us to follow after as we have become and do become parents ourselves. In this world, one of my greatest blessings and honors has been the ability to see my parents become grandparents. Almost 11 years ago, CJ was the first to bless us with the title of parents and grandparents. Sorry. This is when my relationship and my dad's relationship changed and evolved into something I never truly expected. My dad was so proud. Even though he didn't want to hold CJ in the beginning because he was afraid he would hurt him, I decided to put him in his arms and walk away. Another one of Dad's undercover mush moments, and tears welled up. CJ was also the one to name my dad. Juan spoke about it briefly, but I'm going to tell you the entire story. In the beginning, my dad wanted to be called grandfather. We were not having that, and when I say we, my mom, my sister, my brother, we were all like, what is this man thinking? So Mom thought Dad should be called Grumpy. And Dad started calling Mom Mean Old Lady, which ended up in CJ calling my mom Mimi. However, Dad's name battle continued, and he decided he wanted to be called Jodek, which was Polish, and my dad was a proud Polak. But CJ decided that he was Jock to him, and Jock was perfect for him. During that time, Jock was also the shrimp and Nemo that CJ loved, so it really just lined up with their personalities. Jock was the kind of grandpa that got down on the ground with the kids, had them outside playing, whether it was hitting the ball, hanging from the basketball hoop, taking care of the chickens, swimming, fishing, napping with them, or sharing snacks. He wanted to be around them all the time. Dad and Mom would also attend their sporting events every chance they had, but football games were my dad's favorite, and the boys had the honor of even having him coach them. They got to experience a mini version of Jock's tough love, and he was so proud to be in that role with them. He loved being around them so much that if it had gone a few days without seeing them, and by a few, I mean 2, I'd get a text or call from Dad asking, what are you doing for dinner? I'm making a roast tonight, or something else he had planned. And I almost never said no. It was an excuse for me not to cook, but even more so, time that we got to spend together. My kids each held a special place in his heart and had their own special bonds with him. Calvin was pork chop, who loves food as much as my dad, and to him, food is love. Calvin is also a mini Jock, and Dad most certainly saw himself, which was tested many times over. Sometimes I think we brought that on ourselves, since he was partially named after my dad. CJ was a string bean, his first grandchild, the creative builder, and they shared many sleepovers and donut mornings. Even though Dad would never understand CJ's lack of trying new foods, he still loved him. And Laurel was his princess, that he allowed to sit on the counter from the time that she was in diapers and never stopped her. She truly had my dad wrapped around her finger, and he loved it. All three loved him immensely and were his pride and joy next to Zach, Mara, and I. And speaking of pride, my dad was so incredibly proud of the 3 adults we have become, and proud to gain 2 additional sons and 1 daughter in the mix. Dad, one thing we can promise you is that we will work hard to continue to make you proud and endlessly love our families the way you have loved us. I'll end by saying, Daddy, Jock, we love you more than the stars in the sky, more than the fish in the sea. Someday together again, our love will be.